Zorark. I think it's just a 1/1 Ninetales. It might be more versus Jay. So it seems like Simon knows how to play the matchup. You get the Getsus out. I think overall would have liked to have seen him keep the Getsus in the deck because actually using like this game can really get down to the end where every resource counts. So using the Getsus for its own effective Getsus. So hang on. I don't think I like this at all from Simon. So let's see. Turn 1. Looks like turn 1 was Jay. Nest ball for this. Bench this. Play beach. And then Simon goes battle compressor. It's still important to get Zorarks out early in this matchup and start trading. And then we see Simon go for battle compressor. Gets his egg. Egg is fine. Getsus is sometimes fine. I still like leaving Getsus in the deck to use Getsus as its own card first and then start Via Seeker for it. And it looks like he has Zorark in hand and he has 2 Via Seeker. Skyfield, I don't know what this card is. So I would have still gone for a battle compressor into Bridget here. It's still important to like set up your Zorarks and start doing that stuff. You don't want to give them too many turns of like free handiworks. So you still want to be decently aggressive with like setting up your setup and then using all your resources as efficiently as possible. So from Simon, I would have liked to have seen the Getsus stay in deck. You want to Lele for the Getsus. You want to use all your resources as efficiently as possible. You still want to set up. I would have liked to have seen a Bridget here. And I would have liked to have seen Via Seeker for Bridget so you can use the Zorark next turn. I think that's a choice band, actually. But instead he's going for this turn 1 Getsus. And Getsus is super important against Wailord. But not... And also he has Beach in play too. So right here... Okay, hang on. So right here, he goes this. I don't like this. I like the Bridget play. You have a Zorark in hand, and you can abuse Beach on your first turn. Your hand size is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Choice band. You could even attach a choice band. You kind of want to keep it. I mean, they don't play a ton of tool removal, so you could keep the choice band. Or put the choice band down. So you could have gone... keep Getsus in deck so you can Lele for it later. Battle compressor away. Bridget, double egg. That's fine. The eggs are super nice to have to like do a big turn, or when you need like the extra damage push with the Skyfield. So I'd like to have seen a Bridget here. Bridget, triple Zorua, abuses Beach for 4. Instead, you're going with Getsus, which puts you in like unknown as to what you're going to get. He could just have like 2 or 3 items in hand. They play a ton of supporters in this deck. They do play a lot of items, and it's important to take their items out of their hand with Getsus, but not before you're not pressuring them. If you're not pressuring them when you Getsus, the Getsus was basically wasted, and you need to maximize how many times you Getsus in this matchup. Or can Getsus and reset their hand off each time after they beach. So I think this should have been a Bridget. I think this Via Seeker should be for Bridget. I think the choice band should be played. I think it's a choice band. I can't really tell. And then I think he should have beached. And then leave the Getsus in hand. Use it for later. This is all going to be shuffled back, and next he's going to draw 4. But they have to be 4 good cards, or basically he just wasted a turn and gives like Jay 2 more turns to draw out of his current predicament. And also in this situation, now you have to play down the Skyfield. You actually have to play down the Skyfield here to bump his stadium. You never Getsus without making sure Beach is not in play, because that is a wasted Getsus in this matchup. Every time you Getsus Wailord, which you do a lot in this matchup, you have to make sure their stadium's not in play. So he actually has to play Skyfield here to have any kind of efficiency of this turn. Ultra Ball, this should be getting a Lele for Bridget next turn, or just for a Zorua. But he also should definitely put the Skyfield in play here this turn. So we'll go. He gets Getsus. Because otherwise what happens is he Getsus, made Jay shuffle 4 cards back in his deck, down to 3 cards. You know exactly what they are. I think that one is a Skylet, so that's for another Beach. But you have to kind of run them out of Beach. Or force them to use like Elusamine for Beach, whatever. Kind of like waste their turn, not be able to heal or use energy removal. But then he just gets to reset his hand if you don't bump Beach here. So he's getting the Zorua. That's fine. Still, once again, I would have liked to have seen the turn 1 Bridget, followed up by you just using his Beach. For the early couple turns, you don't have to be super aggressive about taking knockouts. But like by turn 3, turn 4, you want to start being like, you don't want to give them too much time to thin their deck, because thinning their deck is super important in Wailord. Even though they thin their deck very little and not that often. Whenever Wailord thins anything in their deck, they draw that extra card for a turn. They get to play an extra like fan club, get 2 Pokemon, and they're not being pressured at all. That's huge in Wailord. That is so massive when they get to do any of that stuff. So you want to limit how many turns they get to do that, and kind of cut that out. You don't want them to do. You want to limit as much as that as possible. But that means you need to set up some kind of pressure. So you still need to set up pressure efficiently. You don't have to cut their beach out of the game as early as turn, or Getzis plus cut out their beach as early as turn 1, which is what it looks like Simon is going for here. You just need to do it once you start pressuring them. Once you start pressuring them, you have to cut out their resources. But until you start pressuring them, you don't have to cut out the resources because you're giving them free turns anyways to try and draw back into their resources. So we'll see what Simon goes with here. All right, so he does do the Skyfield at least. I can't tell what the rest. It's a Zoroark. I see a Hex, I think. Choice Band. There is the Choice Band in hand. He's gonna pass. Jay goes draw. He does have the Skyla. He's gonna get. You either get Lusamine or you get just another beach. You probably just get another beach. I don't think you ever just don't get another beach here. Okay. So he gets a beach here. I mean, knowing he has Skyla for beach in hand, I don't know. I maybe almost. I mean, he still bump with Skyfield, I think. It doesn't look like he could have used beach himself anyways, so beach is gonna come back down. He's just gonna draw 4 cards. VS Secret for Skyla. I mean, that's okay, I guess. So now you can use the Skyla and Enhanced Hammer, I guess. But that's the same thing. Yeah, I don't actually like that VS Secret for the Skyla. I don't think that does anything, really. All right, so now he's Lele. If he just gets Bridge here, I'm going to be a little sad. Because that's what he should have just been trying to do on the first turn. We'll see, though. Lele. And, okay. I would have actually liked to... So even though I would have been a little sad to see the Bridget finally come out, I think you still get Bridget here, and you grab double Zorua, evolve to Zoroark, trade. You should actually evolve to Zoroark, trade first, maybe, and then decide if you want to lay there for Bridget. I think he has a Zoroark in hand. Does he not have a Zoroark in hand? All right, there we go. There's a Zoroark. Zoroark trade. So So the Lele for end, once again, doesn't really make any sense to do first. He should have... I'm fine with the Guzma play. I wouldn't attack here yet, though. I'm fine with going Guzma Wailord. All right, let's stop. Let's talk about this for a second. Okay, what happened here? Let's talk about this. Okay, so here we go. Zorua, Zoroark. He benches Lele, gets N. Now, I don't know if this was just like a thought process. So I do this all the time, too. This is like a thought process initially. It's like, oh, I want to disrupt his hand. I'm going to go get Lele for N. I need to play a support this turn. And he's like, wait, I have Zoroark in hand. Maybe I should trade first. So he definitely should have traded first. And he should have probably traded away Hex. Maybe not. It's still good to have cards left in your deck in this matchup, actually, because you can start to deck out in this matchup before they either run you out of DCE or you actually kill all their Wailords. So either way, he should have traded first. He should have evolved to Zoroark and traded first and never benched this Lele. And then he goes evolve Zoroark, egg, trade. So that should have happened before the Lele happened. Okay? And then here we go. Look at his hand. And I like the Guzma play, actually. You need to get the Zoroark into the active somehow. What I don't like here is then him committing resources and attacking this turn. So what's going to happen? I don't even need to look at Jay's hand. What's going to happen on Jay's turn is Jay is going to go Max Potion or AZ or Acerola and then Enhanced Hammer or Flare Grunt and Max Potion. Like, he's going to heal this and remove the energy in the same turn. And the way you can avoid that is if you Getzis them. Because if you Getzis them, they lose all their items. So you can only play one supporter a turn. So what will happen is he will either remove the energy or he'll heal. And what you ideally do throughout the game is you will remove their stadium and Getzis them in the same turn and then attack and apply pressure. But when you apply pressure and they still have all their resources in their hand, what's going to happen is he's just going to heal and remove your energy. So I would have liked to have seen him wait a turn. The Guzma play is right, I think. You need to get the Zoroark into the active. He's your main attacker in the matchup. You don't really attack with anything else ever. He's the main threat. So I think this is right. And then the egg probably is right. Once you commit to the attack, you need to do enough damage to set up a 2-shot. You have to force a 2-shot. If you're not pressuring a 2-shot, once again, if they know that you can't like 2-shot it and you're going to be stepping into a 3-shot, they're like they love that. That's great. So ideally, you don't do this attack. You still Guzma. The egg stays in the discard pile, and you just pass with Zoroark active. And the next turn, you look to replace Stadium and gets us in the same turn, and then attack for an efficient 2-shot. We'll see where it goes from here. So let's see. Acerola, and I think I see an Enhanced Hammer in hand. So that, like I said, I don't like this either. I don't like pushing RoboSub yet. Let's go back a bit and talk about this. So here he goes. Acerola, and he's gonna push up Robosub. I don't like pushing up Robosub yet. I like using Robosub as like a last later on so Robosub becomes really good when they start getting the replace stadium plus Ghetsis plays, and then you can only like AZ or Acerola for your turn. So that's when you send up Robosub to try and buy a turn. That's when you can use Robosub really efficiently in this matchup on the Wailord side, is when they do the Ghetsis play, they bump your stadium, and then you're stuck with either removing energy or healing for the turn. And then that way it's really easy for you to choose healing for the turn as like an Acerola or an AZ, and you get to push Robosub up for your turn, and you get to buy a turn to draw another card to pull off the combo of heal plus remove energy. So I don't like the Robosub push immediately here. It's okay, but I would prefer to see the Robosub stay on the bench. Like, his hand is still full, and he's beaching. Like, just set up another Wailord for the turn. You definitely have a healing card in your hand. Like, you have Skyla for max potion at the very least, so you can buy a turn. You probably have AZ or Acerola in the hand as well. I don't know. I would like to see the Robosub stick around for a little bit longer. Because Simon can never go, like, Guzma one-shot a Wailord, as far as I know. Yeah, you can never, like, Guzma one-shot a Wailord. So, like, he almost always has to deal with the sub when it's active. So let's see what Simon does this turn. I would be fine almost if Simon tries to reset his hand here and ends for the turn. This is cool too. The Ninetales you're gonna have to use at some point. So if he does this and end, I don't like this. The chances are too high of him having like a heal plus energy removal card. So I would have liked to seen him actually hold the DCE and just end, and then off of that, from the turn after that, you look to replace Stadium plus Ghetsis and then attack, because that's all you want to look to do. But when you step into these scenarios of the giving them the opportunity to there's an hand stammer, and I bet he has an Acerola or an AZ in that hand as well. I can't fully see. But then you walk into the area of him just being able to heal plus enhance hammer. That's all this deck is looking to do. The Wailord deck against Zoroark is they want to heal and they want to kill your dude in the same turn. Hoopa's annoying, but you have the Hex, so it's not really that bad. So the Hoopa's to kill the Hoopa, you might have to take a turn off of using the Ghetsis to replace Stadium for a turn to just go Hex kill the Hoopa, which is fine. It'll come up and you'll just have to do it. I don't know. We'll see what Jay has. It looks like he maybe only has the energy removal, but not the heal. Nope, there's the max. See, there it is. There it is. The remove energy plus max potion. If Simon had just waited, if he had just end and traded, and then waited to be able to go replace Stadium Ghetsis, this wouldn't happen. And this is how Wailord wins. I don't know how many times they need to pull off this combination of heal plus remove energy in the same turn, but that's all they look to do ever. That's all they want to do ever. And all you have to do as a Zoroark player is try and limit that. And that's the only way you ever win the game. And then once again, like, it's hard for Simon to set up the play of Ghetsis plus replace Stadium, because turn one he didn't go for the Bridget, and he only has one Zoroark in play. He's only trading once per turn, so he's not actually he's only trading once per turn, so he's not actually drawing the resources he needs. And it's okay to go hard to thin your deck early on to get that combination of replace Stadium plus Ghetsis, because it actually gives you a chance in the matchup. That's how you win the matchup. But when you do this and you give them the chance to play out how they want to play, you're not going to be able to win the game. All right, so he's going for Ghetsis. Still important to get rid of the enhancer. There's AZ enhancer. Even if it's getting rid of one item, but he has to replace the Stadium this turn. Otherwise, that's a wasted Ghetsis. And you have a finite amount of Ghetsis. Your puzzle needs to be used either on energy or Ghetsis, depending on what you run out of more. But if you use a Ghetsis without replacing his Stadium in the same turn, you just wasted a Ghetsis. And you can't do that. Because if you do that, that's, once again, you're just going to start to lose the game through that. It looks like he has Computer Search in hand, though. So I'd like to see Computer Search for DCE. And I think I saw Double Puzzle as well. So Computer Search for DCE, or... Oh, it looks like he's going to go with a Scoop. Okay. All right. I guess that's fine at that point in the game. Let's go on. Let's move up to Game 2. Game 2 opens Vulpix. Oh, so Zorua is obviously the start. Let's see what he goes for turn 1. I really do not want to... I want to see a Bridget here. I want to see a Bridget, because you still need to set up. You need to draw cards. You need to be able to pull off the combination to... the combination of replace Stadium plus Ghetsis plus Swing. Although it is it's scary to think about, because everyone labels Wailord as a mill deck. Wailord is not a mill deck. They would beat you through running you out of resource. So he already has the nice. I like that. But there's no reason to get the Guzma now. He might top deck Guzma, so then he could use this to go get Ghetsis. There's no reason to go get the Guzma now. The Wailord doesn't end you. Okay, this isn't a huge deal. But he Lele's for Guzma, which is good, because you want to be able to move the Zoroark into the active. But he doesn't need to do it this turn. Wailord, they play some ends, I think. They might play 0N actually, maybe 1 or 2. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen just the Bridget. Just don't put the Lele on the bench. Maybe you top deck the Guzman. I think that's fine. Or maybe you need to go Lele for like an N next turn or something. I am happy to see the Bridget turn 1 though. I also don't know if Simon plays Floatstone, so the Guzman is like super important. All right, that's all fine. Getting the eggs into this card pile is actually really nice because, once again, even though this deck really isn't you're not really playing against a deck out deck. Like Wailord isn't a deck out deck. Wailord runs you out of resources, and then they use Handiwork to speed up the game, so they actually can win in a timely fashion, or they use Handiwork to punish people who overcommit or who overextend their resources. But Wailord is a deck that actually just runs you out of resources. So I'd like to have seen that go for trade off the egg instead of the Acerola. I personally don't like thinning cards out of your hand if you can avoid it until later. So here I would actually have just committed DCE to retreat the Vulpix. Like once again, you still want to be aggressive about doing damage. Like I don't think Simon plays Floatstone. The way he has been playing, he doesn't play Floatstone. But Jay goes and gets a Wailord here. So I guess it kind of paid off. Now he can go with the Guzma. Once again, I wouldn't hit, I don't think. It depends on the card count in Jay's hand. But it looks like he has Beach something. So yeah. So I guess we're going to see double egg. Ultra Bulk, nice. Get another Zoroark. Draw some cards. Alright. So in the current situation with how slow Jay's game has been going, I would go with just Guzma hit here. This is like one of the rare times I would go Guzma hit without using Getsis as well. So yeah, the Guzma hit here is fine. Double trade, I like it. Get cards. Guzma the Wailord. Attach Choice Band if you have it, I think is the only thing. What do you cap out on? 180. So yeah, you'd be able to go Skyfield till your bench shotgun. All right, that's fine. This is fine. All right, so now Jay's gonna pop off AZ, and then Beach should be coming down. Let's see. Doesn't look like he has a ton of cards in hand. I'd be surprised if he did not play Beach. Oh, he did not. He's not gonna play the Beach. Okay. So I would like to see if Simon can, I would like to see a Getsis here. I would like to see Getsis and then swing. Choice Band is nice. If he doesn't have access to Getsis though, then whatever. You still swing here because Jay's playing like off like he has nothing, but he does have a Beach in his hand. He's probably trying to draw a lot of cards or as many cards as possible. Yeah. So he has Max Potion Energy. Oh, now you Beach, right? He's got 4-card hand. Thinking. I can't come up with a reason why you wouldn't Beach here. Okay. So yeah. I don't know if... So either way you swing there, even if you don't have access to Getsis. If Simon did have access to Getsis not this turn, the turn before this, and didn't use it, I think that's a mistake for sure. Like Jay's obviously content with just chilling and sitting here. So that suggests that he has the Max Potion or the heal plus energy removal combo in hand. So you definitely want to look to get rid of that no matter what. Trade. It's also important to not over trade. That can happen as well. So he really needs Getsis here. Hopefully it's not prized. Getsis might be prized. It's actually very possible that Getsis is just prized. And if Getsis is prized, then you kind of just always lose to Wailord. It's really hard to beat Wailord without Getsis. I don't see it in his hand. So this is definitely just the right game plan to go down. I maybe would have liked to have seen him end Jay here. One less card. One less card is better than nothing. We see he has energy removal plus heal in hand again though, so it's gonna get rough. Without Getsis, like, this is what happens when you don't have Getsis. He gets to Lucamine here too for free, which is ridiculous. And he's gonna hit him with the enhanced hammer. Enhanced hammer Max Potion probably. Oof. He's got everything going now. Enhanced hammer. Max Potion, yeah. So that when you don't get the Getsis. If he had access to Getsis there, I would have definitely liked to have seen the Getsis. I almost have a feeling it's prized though at this point. I think he's down 3 DCE. I don't think Simon plays Special Charge, which is also another huge card in this matchup. if you do play it, because you can get way more DCs than you should be able to. Yeah, he's just grabbing 2 DCE. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and assume gets his prize at this point, which pretty much makes... You can't really win if he gets his prize, because you never get, like, turns of actually being able to kill Pokemon. They can kind of just chill forever. Oh, the subs are coming down, too, now. Easy. Hoopa. Sure. I mean, I could see... I wonder why he doesn't bench down the other whale. Again, is there a reason? Oh, stand-in. He's trying to avoid a stand-in knockout, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Simon has the Hex knockout. Bench. I think he has Hex in hand, actually. Hex. Yep. Knockout. If he gets us here, if it was prized, that'd be huge. There's the lightning energy for the circuitry. Plumeria. Beach. Yep. Oh, so... Alright. So he still maybe got that off the prizes. Is there any way I can... Let me see if I can check. Because otherwise I'm going to be disappointed if that came out of deck. Let's see. Hex knockout. I'm going to check this. I'm very disappointed if that came out of deck. But I have a feeling that came out of prize. Because there's no reason... Oh, yeah, that came out of the prize. Okay. Yeah, because there's no reason for him to have not Getsus up this point. So he actually... Now he has got the Getsus. Now the turns have kind of passive at doing a whole lot. And Jay is already really set up. This is also a point... Okay, good. I like that. It's also very nice to have... And see, here are the points. Here's the point where... And he wasn't able to replace Stadium, which sucks. So here's the point where, like... Acerola, now he's going to push sub, bench the whale, and then he's going to beach for, like, what, 1, 2? And now he's looking for the heal energy removal combo, but he gets to, like... This is why I mentioned in the first game where I didn't like him pushing up sub so early. Because this is the play when you do want to push up Robo Sub. When you're looking to just buy turns until you get the combination of cards. Of the double... of the energy removal plus heal. So yeah, I don't like this Robo Sub push up now. I don't like him pushing up sub here. I think I should push a Wailord here because once again he's not in a... He has double puzzle even in hand, so he's not in a horrible spot to try and buy a turn. Oh, what do you do? Flare Grunt and then Skyla? Is that what just happened there? Yeah, it looks like what happened there. Flare Grunt. Yeah, he Flare Grunted and then he went to use Skyla. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a bit. All right, looks like prize penalty for Simon. Simon takes the prize penalty. And... Oh, he just ended up with another DC there. Okay, yeah. Simon's turn now. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Flare Gun for turn into beach. Draw, DC, attach, DCE. And here he does need to go Getsus, replace Stadium. Otherwise, you just shouldn't attach that DCE there. No, he goes for the cow. Yeah. So you need to Getsus and attach Getsus and replace Stadium there. Otherwise, you basically just waste the DCE. I also think that the Robo Sub should have been held back for a turn. Because he did have the double puzzle in hand. But it's not a huge... That actually isn't a huge deal. Yeah, I don't like that a DC attachment unless you're going, once again, Getsus replace Stadium in the same turn. He maybe should have even looked to have, like, end this turn to reset his deck, because his hand is really big and his deck is really thin at this point. So maybe that's why he didn't want to Getsus there. Now he's Battle Compressor, though, which means he has to at least get rid of one card. But I'm pretty sure he's just checking what is left in his deck, what is prized. He's got a decent amount of cards left, actually. Is he going to trade? Via Seeker. Please be Getsus. Alright, Getsus. But now he doesn't have a So the problem here is he does Getsus, but he does not have a DCE to combo it with yet. And you have to be able to replace the stadium. Is that double puzzle, though? Maybe we got it with double puzzle. All right, cool. Double puzzle. There we go. 2DC. But you have to replace the stadium. If you don't replace the stadium, they just heal for the turn, and then they'd redraw cards. And... okay, there we go. That's what I like to see. But he's about a deck out at this point. So yeah, you need to get this combination going earlier and more often, because otherwise you will start to deck out before it actually takes effect. Who's going with the Skull Grunt? He has Stretcher in hand, so that's good. He's going to be able to Pokemon back in. So he'll be able to refill up his deck a little bit. But I'm pretty sure this is going to end up in a loss just eventually. It took him too long to find the combination of cards that he needed. He can get a knockout here, though, I think. Choice Spencer, good. I like it. What do you do? 150? He can follow up with another 150. I don't know why you would Ultra Ball here, though, because you're actually entering deck out territory. So I wouldn't have... personally, I would not have Ultra Ball there. Yeah, I wouldn't have Ultra Ball there because you're entering deck out territory. It's taking you too long to get to the point where you start taking knockouts. So you have like very finite amount of resources left. He also needs to try and replace Stadium here. That's like pretty key if he can get it. He does not get the Stadium replaced though. So like Jay's just gonna be able to and that was apparently his last TCE. So yeah, Jay takes it. So I think overall from this game, I don't think it was properly played by Simon. For game 1 at least, it seemed like he knew what was going on in game 2, but I'm pretty sure this prize was Getsus. I'm almost positive this prize was Getsus. So game 1 should have been more aggressive about getting Bridget down, getting Zoroarks in play. The game strategy is replace Stadium, Getsus, swing. Replace Stadium, Getsus, swing. Over and over and over and over until you win the game. You're going to have to throw a Hex in there at some point probably to deal with Hoopa. It seemed like game 2 he knew what was up and what needed to be done. He unfortunately opened Vulpix again. You obviously want to open Zorua. I'm pretty sure this prize was Getsus. That's why we didn't see Getsus coming out early on. But yeah, I think he definitely had a chance in game 1 because game 1 he had everything. He had the turn 1 Bridget. Getsus was in deck. I think game 1 he had a real good shot of being able to win. But he went for that turn 1 Getsus, which like really just like put him behind and made him like he only had like one Zoroark out the whole game or like most of the game until he scooped. So yeah, that's pretty much how that matchup goes. It's like that's how it goes when it ends up like that. For sure, Wailord will come out on top.